there! Once again, this is Jess. I go by Mystic Jess, and this is a part of Intuitive Home Solutions, a 3-part series in the top 10 misconceptions that people have about witches. Last thing I did was top 10 Christian misconceptions that Christianity have about witches that are just not true. This series of 10 things is going to be top 10 Hollywood misconceptions that you see in movies and perhaps in plays on Broadway that you think that witches use or participate in that are just not real or untrue completely. Number 1, not all witches wear all black all the time, and if you see somebody in public who you believe is a witch, it's not okay to stare at us. Just like you wouldn't want us to just stare at you blatantly for wearing a shirt that has a random logo on it. It's awkward, it's rude, and you wouldn't want us to do that to you. Number 2, we don't eat children. With the whole Hansel, Gretel, and the oven and the candy bread house, that's not true. We don't eat children. We don't melt if you throw water on us, aka from Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. Throw water on us, we're not going to melt. You can't turn people into frogs either, so don't think we're going to turn you into a frog or that we have turned one of your friends into a frog or a goat. Obviously, that's not a real thing that can happen. We don't do that. And we don't turn into cats or bats or ravens. We can't just magically turn into an animal. That's not a real thing either. Just because many witches believe that the universe is of love and that we're all connected doesn't mean we want to participate in an orgy with you and your husband. Many of us, many witches or pagans in general are polyamorous or perhaps gay or bisexual. That doesn't mean that we're going to experiment with you and your partner. Don't ask us. That's rude. We don't have green skin, obviously. I'm wearing a little bit of lipstick, but I'm not covering up any green skin. And we don't have warts on our noses all the time. Some people do have warts. I have warts on my fingers sometimes, but that's just a part of nature. I don't have green skin, and I don't have any warts on my nose. Many witches are gifted with the gift of telling the future or of mediumship, but that doesn't mean that you get to ask us for a free reading. Just because you do nail tech doesn't mean we're going to ask you for a free manicure. Just because somebody does tarot doesn't mean that we're going to tell you about your love life for free. Just because we do pendulum or rune work doesn't mean we get to tell you what you had for breakfast. And just because we do palm readings or crystal ball readings doesn't mean that we're going to tell you when the next job you're going to have is going to happen. And we're not going to do it for free. Don't ask us. It's very rude. Just like any part of any kind of job that your friends have, you're not going to ask them to do it for free, correct? Just because they're your friend. So don't ask us to do readings for free. The next thing I'd like to point out is that many pagans or witches in general do not have the ability to move something with our mind or make something spontaneously combust or turn into fire. Doesn't mean that we can teleport magically, things that you see on TV like that, like American Horror Story or Halloween Town. We can't fly through the air like that. That's a lot of Hollywood misconceptions that just aren't true. Some people actually do have the ability to move small things or perhaps to see in the mind of someone else. It takes a lot of practice and a lot of connection with spirit, and that's a gift that needs to be developed intensely. Many people aren't born with the ability to see auras or fly through the air or anything coming back from the dead. That's a lot of Hollywood misconceptions, and when you find out your friend's a witch, don't ask them to move something across the air or to levitate. Not a common gift, and sometimes don't even exist. Some of those things are completely fake. Some of us, as I did mention, are mediums, and we can speak to deceased relatives. It's not always something that you can just ask us to contact your deceased father or your deceased aunt. Sometimes we have a door open in our spirit so that we can communicate with those who have passed on, and sometimes it just happens so quickly that we see flashes in our mind or hear things or see things that we can communicate with those who have passed on. But it doesn't mean that you get to ask us to contact your deceased relative randomly, and definitely not for free. Some of us are offering special moments that we can participate in with you in order to contact your deceased relatives. But just like any gift, just like any talent, you're not going to ask for it for free. And if you do end up wanting to talk to a deceased relative, and that relative does come through with us, you're going to get an earful. It's not just going to be little bits and things. Sometimes they just start talking and communicating with us, and we can't help it. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't happen. And lastly, just because we're a witch doesn't mean that you get to tell us that our gods or deities or spirits are not real. It's very rude, just like you wouldn't tell your Christian or Catholic friend or family member that Jesus isn't real. Big taboo. You wouldn't say that to them. Please don't say it to us. And we're not going to tell you that straight up, that we don't believe your gods or saints are real. I mean, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. I mean, you learn these things in preschool. So, top 10 Hollywood misconceptions. Don't have green skin, don't really fly through the air, and we don't turn people into frogs. It just doesn't happen. My name is Jess. I go by Mystic Jess. This is in collaboration with Intuitive Home Solutions. We also have a Facebook group, Facebook page, Instagram, and Twitter, as well as a blog and a shop on Etsy and on our website. All the links will probably be in the description, so feel free to check those out. If you have any questions, feel free to go ahead and put them in the comments. If you've heard weird things from Hollywood that you have any questions about, we can definitely clear those up for you right away. Please make sure to give this video a nice magical thumbs up, and join us again for another top 10 misconceptions, and that video will be coming up soon. Thank you. Blessed be.